Hey, Sarah, since the whole family is here, let's have some premium steak. Oh, but none for the low-class duo. You're not really a part of our family anyway.
You can't be serious about this. We drove 3 hours to be here for this family gathering.
Distance doesn't make you family. Real family understands proper etiquette.
Really? You're doing this again? We're hurt by this. Your granddaughter is crying.
She needs to learn her place early. Better now than later.
She's 13, Karen. This is a family gathering, not some exclusive country club.
I'm the one who should be crying. My elite son got trapped by someone like you.
Is that what you really think happened? Tom and I met at university. We dated for 3 years before marriage.
Yes, while you were working that pathetic part-time job at the library. Probably planned it all from the start.
I was a graduate teaching assistant, working my way through my master's degree.
Oh, please. You think having a degree makes you worthy?
Then why did you approve of the marriage? A bit late to be saying all this now.
I thought you might have some hidden quality. Some redeeming features. But clearly I was wrong. I couldn't see your true nature back then. To think you were from such a low-class background. This is ridiculous. Tom is such an idiot. Getting seduced by someone like you.
We fell in love naturally. You attended our wedding. You even gave a speech about welcoming me to the family.
That was before I knew everything. Before I found out about your mother's job.
My mother is a high school teacher. She's educated generations of students. What's wrong with that?
A teacher, please. Barely a step above being a street sweeper.
If he's happy, isn't that what matters? Tom loves his job as a professor, just like my mother loves teaching.
That's such a low-class thing to say. You need to understand that our family lineage is elite. We're chosen ones, with only distinguished people in our ancestry.
What exactly makes someone distinguished in your eyes? Money? Title?
Everything. Breeding, education, connections, things you clearly know nothing about.
Only distinguished people? That's quite a claim.
Don't you dare question our heritage. Your family probably can't even trace back 3 generations.
Actually, we can trace our family back to the 1700s. My grandfather was a historian.
Our prestigious lineage is being ruined by someone whose ancestors were probably all thieves. My late husband must be crying in heaven.
We were never thieves. Well, maybe 1 or 2 in the distant past. Every family has its stories.
Don't you dare compare your family to ours. Even one is enough to ruin everything. That's when a family line becomes worthless.
That's quite a bold statement. Should we judge everyone by their ancestors' actions?
Of course we should. Blood tells all. Look at how you behave, proving my point exactly.
How am I proving your point? By attending a family gathering? By trying to maintain peace?
By arguing with your betters. By not knowing your place.
And what exactly is my place? As your son's wife? As Emily's mother?
It's like a rotten apple. That's just how society works. Low-class people like you wouldn't understand the taste of premium steak anyway. So why don't you beg for some side dishes? Make sure to bow properly when you ask.
This is getting ridiculous. Emily and I didn't come here to be humiliated.
Yet here you are, humiliating yourself, just by existing.
We would never do that. Emily and I have protein supplements. We'll just have those. We came prepared knowing how you can be.
Prepared? How insulting! Bringing your own food to my gathering? How dare you!
Given our history, it seemed prudent. This isn't the first time you've tried to exclude us.
What's the point of low-class people taking supplements? Trying to appear sophisticated? It's laughable.
To stay healthy, obviously. Something everyone should care about.
Health advice from someone like you? Next, you'll be giving me financial advice.
I'm a certified financial advisor, actually. But you knew that.
Whatever. Just keep your cheap supplements and cheaper advice.
We'll eat somewhere else less conspicuous. Away from your judgmental stares.
Good. Don't come back. You don't belong at this family gathering. You must realize that yourself. Take your protein powders and go.
Yes, there certainly seems to be someone who doesn't belong here. We'll take our leave for now. Emily doesn't need to witness this.
Oh, trying to play the good mother now? I'll make up some excuse for Tom. Just take that weird vehicle of yours and go.
Weird vehicle? That's my compact car. What's your problem with it?
You call that economical disaster a car? Where's your driver? Don't tell me you actually drive yourself.
Of course I drive myself, like most normal people do.
Oh my. First time seeing one in person. What a pathetic vehicle. Must be embarrassing.
You've never seen a compact car in person? How is that even possible? Do you never leave your mansion?
Someone like you couldn't possibly imagine my lifestyle. Don't even try to understand it. Now get on that tricycle or whatever and leave.
It has 4 wheels, actually, and excellent gas mileage. Unlike your gas-guzzling luxury car.
How dare you criticize my car? At least mine doesn't look like a toy.
What? We're leaving? Mom, aren't you mad about this?
It's fine. We're just leaving for now. I'm not planning to let this slide, but this isn't the right time or place.
But she's being horrible. She does this every time.
I know, sweetie, but we need to be strategic about this.
At least say something back. Dad's too scared to speak up. He's just sitting there.
I have a better idea. There's something she needs to learn. I know just how to do it. Trust me on this.
What? Are you planning to kidnap her or something?
Mom, please don't do anything illegal. Your face has that look.
What kind of person do you think I am? I would never commit a crime. Violence is shameful above all else. I have something else in mind.
You're acting suspicious. That's your planning face.
What? You were the one talking about getting revenge a minute ago. Besides, I'm perfectly calm.
No, I just meant we should say something back. I said that because I was worried you might do something extreme. You get that look sometimes.
Listen here, you might think I'm like an unleashed dog, but I'm much more mature than you. I have a plan. A legal one.
True, but I don't want you doing anything crazy. We should just tell Dad what happened.
Oh, we will. But there's more to this than just today. Much more.
Mom, you're starting to scare me. That smile isn't helping.
Don't worry, everything will be fine. We just need to make a few phone calls.
Why do I feel like this is going to get complicated? Can't we just go home?
Sometimes, Emily, you have to stand up for yourself. Your grandmother needs to learn a lesson. A permanent one.
Now you really sound like a villain. Please don't make this worse.
Trust your mother. I know exactly what I'm doing. And it's all going to be perfectly legal. I'm going to do something a bit wild, and you're going to help me. It's time we dealt with this properly.
No, I'm not helping with revenge. I saw that look in your eye back there.
This isn't revenge, it's justice. There's a difference.
Mom, you're starting to sound like a supervillain. What exactly are you planning?
Remember how your father mentioned those old family records? The ones Karen is so proud of?
Yeah, the ones she keeps bragging about. What about them?
Well, I've been doing some research and I found some interesting things.
Mom, no. Whatever you're thinking, no.
Just hear me out. Your grandmother isn't as distinguished as she claims.
Can't we just let this go? Let's talk this out today and settle things properly.
15 years, Emily. 15 years I've tried to talk things out. She called me low class at my own wedding.
I remember. But still.
She made you eat in the kitchen at Christmas, called you a mixed breed child.
That was years ago. I'm over it.
Are you really? Because I'm not. No mother should watch her child be treated that way.
What about Dad? Have you told him about today?
Your father knows who his mother is. He just lacks the courage to stand up to her.
Maybe he has his reasons. Maybe we should respect that.
His reason is fear. Pure and simple. She's controlled him with money his whole life.
What do you mean? I thought Dad was successful.
He is, but there's something you don't know. About the monthly payments.
What monthly payments? Are we paying Grandma?
Yes, a significant amount. She demanded it after your grandfather passed.
But why? She lives in that huge house. She always talks about her wealth.
It's all a facade. Your grandfather left everything to her, but she's terrible with money.
So we've been supporting her? All this time?
Yes. While she treats us like garbage, while she excludes us from family events.
That's messed up. But still, don't make me help with revenge.
Not revenge. Think of it as family history research.
That sounds suspiciously specific. What kind of research?
I need help accessing some records. Public records. Nothing illegal.
Mom, you're scaring me. Can't we just enjoy our protein shakes and go home?
You came from me. Do as I say. This is important.
Don't give me that. What's with that attitude? We are past the age of blind obedience.
You're right. I'm sorry. Let me explain properly.
I'm listening, but I'm still suspicious.
Remember your school project? The genealogy one?
The one about family trees? From last semester?
Yes. You still have access to that database? The historical records one.
Mom, that's for academic research, not revenge plots.
It's for academic research. Very academic. Just about our own family.
You mean Grandma's family. Don't pretend this is innocent.
Everything I find will be true. Public record. How is that revenge?
It's how you plan to use it. I know that look.
What if I told you that your grandmother's family isn't as pure as she claims?
What do you mean? What did you find?
Nothing yet, but I have a hunch. Based on some old newspaper clippings.
This feels wrong. Like we're stooping to her level.
Is it wrong to uncover the truth? To expose hypocrisy? To stand up for ourselves?
When you put it that way. But still, it feels mean.
Meaner than what she does? Meaner than making you cry? Meaner than humiliating us at every chance?
Two wrongs don't make a right. Isn't that what you always say?
Sometimes, the right thing requires uncomfortable actions.
Now you sound like a fortune cookie. A vengeful fortune cookie.
Fine, we'll talk more in the car. I'm already there. Take your time.
You're being suspiciously patient. Usually you're honking by now.
I'm drafting an email to the Historical Society. Very important research.
Mom, please tell me you're not.
Just gathering information. Knowledge is power. Your grandmother taught me that.
By being horrible to us? That's your justification?
By showing me that some people only understand one language, the language of consequences.
Okay, let me grab my stuff. But I'm still not sure about this.
We need to talk with Tom too. Your father needs to know everything.
Are you sure? Dad gets anxious about these things.
He needs to make a choice. It's time he stood up to her. For all of us.
He loves you, you know. He's just scared of her. Always has been.
I know, that's why this needs to happen. He needs to break free.
Break free? From his own mother?
From her control. From her manipulation. From her money.
The monthly payments? Is that what this is about?
Partly, but it's more than that. It's about respect.
What if this makes everything worse? What if she retaliates?
What could she do? Treat us worse than she already does? Make us eat in the garden next time?
Mom, your sarcasm isn't helping. This is serious.
I am being serious. Dead serious. Get in the car.
Fine. But promise me something.
What? That I won't go too far?
No. Promise me you'll tell me the whole plan. No secrets.
Deal. You deserve to know everything after what she's put you through.
And Dad? Will you tell him everything too?
Everything. It's time for the whole family to face the truth.
Including Grandma's family history? Whatever you find?
Especially that. She's built her whole identity on a foundation of lies.
How do you know? If you haven't found anything yet.
Call it intuition. Call it experience. Call it 15 years of watching her lie.
I'm in the car. Tell me everything.
Starting with those newspaper clippings.
Hey, what are you doing at my house? Standing there like you own the place.
Hello, Karen. We need to talk. It's important.
I told you I have nothing to say to outsiders. Leave my property immediately. Before I call security.
Your security company canceled last month due to unpaid bills. Interesting, isn't it?
How dare you? How do you know about that? Have you been spying on me?
I'm a financial advisor, remember? I notice things like bounced checks.
Stop making me repeat myself. You're not worthy of stepping into this house. Leave. Now.
I'm stopping the monthly allowance starting today. All of it.
What? What are you talking about? You can't do that.
Actually, I can. Half that money comes from my income. My low-class earnings.
You wouldn't dare. Tom would never allow it. He knows his duty to family.
You get a monthly allowance from us, right? But since we're outsiders, we'll stop sending it. Seems fair, doesn't it?
This is blackmail. You're trying to manipulate my son. This is exactly what I warned him about.
It's not blackmail, it's consequences. Something you seem unfamiliar with.
Ha! Go ahead. Did you really come all this way just to say that? How presumptuous.
No, I came to give you a chance to apologize, to change.
Apologize? Me? To you?
Yes, for 15 years of abuse, for treating your granddaughter like dirt. Besides, won't my mother-in-law be in trouble without the allowance?
Think carefully about what you're doing. Very carefully.
Listen, we come from a wealthy background. We can live fine without sending allowances. And besides, this is Tom's decision to make. He agrees.
Tom would never. You've poisoned his mind. My son knows his place.
His place? As your personal ATM, is that what you mean? Until now, Tom and I have been sharing the cost of your allowance. So I do have a say in this decision, and we both agreed to stop the payments. It ends today.
You both? No. You're lying.
Check your phone. Tom sent you a message. Read it.
Ugh, Tom is so easily influenced. I'll just have to convince him myself again. Like I always do.
Not this time. He's done. We're all done.
Now leave and never come near this house again. This discussion is over. I'll handle Tom myself.
No, the allowance is definitely stopping. Tom and I have already directed the bank. It's done.
You're so annoying. Tom would never betray his family like this. Never!
But you can live fine without the allowance, right? All that family wealth, all that prestigious lineage.
This isn't about money. It's about respect. It's only natural for successful children to support their parents.
Support or subsidize your lifestyle. There's a difference.
After all the money spent raising him, showing gratitude is just common sense. Do you know how much his education cost? His private schools?
Yes, I do. $287,000. We've paid you back triple that amount.
That's not the point. A child's duty never ends. You wouldn't understand.
Tom said he's cutting ties with his family. With you specifically. Completely.
What? What nonsense are you spouting? Tom would never say such a thing. Never!
It's true. We discussed it and decided together. Last night, actually.
That's impossible. Not Tom. You're just making this up. You must be.
If you don't believe me, ask him yourself. He's here today in the car.
Huh? Tom is here? My Tom?
Though he didn't have the courage to tell you directly, that's why I came instead. To pave the way.
Tom! Tom! Come out here! Face your mother!
He'll come in when he's ready, on his terms, not yours. But you're right, he should say it himself. Oh, let me go get him. He needs to do this.
What have you been filling my son's head with? What lies have you told? What poison have you spread?
No lies, only the truth. The truth you've been hiding.
He would never turn against me. It's impossible. It's against nature.
Well, this is Tom's decision. His choice. His freedom.
It can't be Tom's decision. My son would never betray me. His life's goal is to repay me for everything I've done. Everything.
What kind of massive parental ego is that? Do you even hear yourself? Your son is 50 years old.
Age doesn't matter. He's still my son. My flesh and blood.
He's also his own person, with his own family, his own life.
You did this. You turned him against me. You poisoned his mind.
No, Karen, you did this all by yourself.
I gave him everything. Everything. How dare he turn on me?
You gave him anxiety, depression, fear of his own mother.
Those are lies. My son loves me. He's grateful.
He's terrified of you. Has been since childhood. We're ending that today.
I'll never forgive this. Never. Do you hear me?
We don't need your forgiveness. We need peace. Freedom from your control.
Get out. Get out of my house. Both of you.
We're leaving. But first, Emily has something to say. Don't you, Emily?
Your claim about a perfect lineage seems to have some errors. Significant ones.
Ah. Who are you to suddenly jump in? This is between me and your mother.
Actually, it's about family. All of us. Including those ancestors you're so proud of.
You're just a child. You know nothing about lineage, about history.
I know more than you think. Remember my genealogy project? The one you refused to help with?
So you're in on this too. Trying to steal Tom from me, aren't you? But it won't work. Tom will never betray me.
That's not what I'm talking about. I've discovered some inconsistencies in your claims. Would you like to hear them?
Inconsistencies? Don't talk nonsense. Low-class people like you challenging me is pointless. You don't understand our history.
Low class? You're talking about family lineage, right? Let's discuss that in detail.
Of course. My lineage only produces distinguished individuals, while your family is nothing but thieves. Every single one of you.
Actually, let's talk about thieves. It's an interesting topic, especially in your family.
How dare you! My family has never had a single criminal. Not one.
I've researched your family history, Mrs. Karen. With Tom's help, actually. He was very interested in the results.
What? Researched my family? You had no right.
Public records are public. Anyone can access them, including newspaper archives.
You're bluffing. There's nothing to find. Nothing.
Yes, and I found some interesting things. First, you claimed your family only produced distinguished people, right? Shall we fact-check that?
Yes, and? What about it? They're all successful.
Indeed, there were some notable people. Especially James, right? He was a renowned poet in the 1800s.
Everyone knows about him. His work is even in textbooks now. He brought honor to our name.
He was certainly an important figure in American literature. However, his grandson was arrested for stealing bread. Multiple times, actually.
What? Bread thief? You're making this up.
Yes, he was caught stealing from his neighbor's bakery. Mrs. Karen, how do you explain this? I thought you said your family only produced distinguished people.
Wait, hold on. I've never heard about any bread thief. You're making this up. You must be.
Actually, I have proof. I'll send you the PDF with the family tree and documentation, including the court records.
This is true. I didn't know about him. But one mistake means nothing.
Mrs. Karen, after calling us thieves so many times, it turns out there was a thief in your own family tree. And not just any thief, a repeat offender.
Well, but it was just bread stealing. It must have been some special $1 million artisan bread, not common theft.
What kind of logic is that? Theft is theft, whether it's bread or diamonds.
Don't you understand? Our family doesn't produce petty thieves like yours. This must have been some extremely valuable bread, worth millions, I'm sure.
Whether the bread was worth millions or pennies, a thief is a thief, isn't it? That's what you always say. Your words, not mine.
Don't compare our refined thieves to your common criminals. There's a huge difference. Class matters.
First of all, we don't even know if we have any thieves in our family, but either way, your argument has been proven wrong. Completely wrong.
So what? This doesn't change the fact that we're a prestigious family. One little thief doesn't mean anything.
But didn't you say it was like a rotten apple? That one bad apple ruins everything? Those were your exact words, weren't they?
Well, yes. But that's for worthless families like yours. Our family is full of exceptional people who don't follow the crowd. One rotten apple doesn't matter for us.
Ah, I see. But who said there was only one rotten apple? Take a look at this. There's more.
What's this? More lies? More fabrications?
This is your great-grandfather. Car thief, it seems. served time in prison. 3 years.
My great-grandfather? Impossible! He was a businessman.
Yes, he was in the car business, stealing them. And your great-grandmother helped. And your great-grandmother was his accomplice. A matching pair of car thieves who got married. How romantic. Like a criminal Bonnie and Clyde.
That's impossible. There's no way our family had a pair of car thieves. You're making this up.
But here's the proof. Feel free to verify it yourself. These are undeniable facts. Published in multiple newspapers.
No, this can't be right. This is wrong. It's all lies. This is impossible. You forged these documents.
It's all true. Please accept it. There are already 3 thieves in your family line. And counting. And actually, there's a total of 7. Would you like to know about the others?
7? No. Stop. I don't want to hear more.
Yes, 7 thieves total. I'll send you the complete list of thieves later, with all the documentation.
Well then, so what if there were 3 thieves? I mean, your family must have even more. You're still beneath us.
Yes, we did have thieves in our line, though not quite 7, and we found some other criminals too. We never denied it.
See? You can't judge me either. You're just as bad.
Exactly, that's the point. Nobody can judge others based on family history. You've been attacking me and my mom over family lineage, something that hardly matters. But look what we found when we dug deeper. We're all the same. Human. Flawed. What matters is who we are now. And right now, Mrs. Karen, you're being horrible. Your personality is just awful. No wonder Dad wants to cut ties.
Wait, is Tom really serious about cutting ties with me? He wouldn't dare.
Yes, he's wanted to for a long time. He was just too timid to say it. Until now.
So the allowance too. He'll really stop everything?
By the way, other relatives were disgusted when you wouldn't serve us steak and made us leave. They all saw your true nature. Finally.
I don't care about other relatives. But I can't lose Tom. What about my allowance? I need it.
That's Dad's decision. Besides, you can live without the allowance, right? All that family wealth?
Well, that's... Things are complicated. The economy...
Oh, seems like you can't live without the allowance after all. How interesting.
I can survive, but my standard of living will definitely drop. Tom wouldn't want that. He loves his mother.
Dad clearly stated he wants to cut ties with you. He must have told you directly by now. Check your phone again.
No, this isn't right. No, I don't want to be alone. Please.
You'll have to live on your own power now. Oh, and don't turn to theft if you struggle financially. Especially don't steal bread when you get hungry. It runs in the family, after all.
Afterward, Karen was ostracized by other relatives and ended up living alone. She still lives in the mansion left by her late husband, but with no income, she can barely make ends meet. One wonders if she's still sitting alone in that huge empty house, going on about family lineage. We hope she reflects and changes her ways. Sarah is enjoying newlywed life with Tom. Though Tom used to be weak and unreliable, this incident motivated him to change. Sarah actually enjoys having the upper hand in their relationship now, and they seem to be doing well together. We hope they continue living happily, being true to themselves without worrying about family lineage or social status.
It's not time for you to be leaving just yet.
Huh? Well, I've finished up all my work for the day, so what's wrong with me heading out of the office early and going out for the evening? I have plans to go meet with a friend of mine out on the town and everything. You want to complain about it or something, Angelica?
I don't believe that you're finished with all of your work quite yet, though. You've just gone and forced all the other coworkers to take on your tasks for you. And because of that, a lot of them are thinking that they'll have to stay late again and put in more overtime.
Oh, are you gonna try and preach to me about things this time?
No. This isn't me preaching to you about anything, actually. It's just that, well, you have everyone pretty upset over the fact that you've never actually done any of your own work.
I see. So everyone is going ahead and talking behind my back about me now? That's a little bit of a shock to me, considering I thought all of us were just so close to one another here. I think I'm gonna have to bring this up with my dad now. I'll let him know that I'm being picked on by everyone in this whole department. And as the new manager of this department, I don't think my dad will let you say things like that to me.
No, you really don't have to tell your dad about any of this. We're not trying to pick on you in any way. Rather, it seems to be the opposite way around here. None of us are wanting to do anything to make you feel bad in any way. We just have some concerns about you is all.
So you're telling me that people are not actually talking about me poorly behind my back?
Nobody is talking about you at all in that way, to be fair. None of us have ever been doing that, because we all know to come talk directly to you if we have a serious problem. However, I think that time has started to come, hence me talking with you about it right now. You always seem to want to show up to the office whenever you want and then go home whenever you want. And while in the office, you'll have everyone else in this department do your work for you as you sit there at your desk looking at your phone. We're not saying rumors or anything like that behind your back because we are all way too busy to do so with all your work being left behind.
Oh, so that's how all of you have thought of me this whole time? Well, to spare everyone else the might of my father, I'll only be telling him that you've been saying bad things about me in the office. I'm sure that my dad will become very upset by something like that. He might even have you fired soon. Heck, I could even fire you myself now. Or better yet, I can make you choose between being relocated or having your pay
Mind. I have not been saying anything bad about you, though. I'm just telling you what all of us think about you, and everything has been true thus far. I just want you to know that it's best if you started to do your own work from now on and act a little more serious about your job here.
pay cut in half. What? Now you're mad at me? I'm so scared. I've gone ahead and screenshotted all these messages you've been sending me, so you'd better start packing your things up and get ready to go.
Go right ahead and show him. I'm sure that after seeing how this conversation has gone down, he'll understand things a lot better and act upon them.
You think so? Well, then let's both be prepared. But just know that it's not me who's gonna be fired for this one.
Hey, are you Angelica from the General Affairs Department here?
Yes, that would be me. And who am I speaking to at the moment?
So that must mean you're the one that went out of line and started talking down to the son of the executive director and your new boss. Since you appear to not know a thing about the politics within this company, I'm going to have you moved out to the middle of nowhere to work.
Are you really sure about that?
I want you out of this office right now!
Excuse me, Robert, but from what he told me, your son has shown you those screenshots of the text that had happened between her and I, correct? No, if you had seen...
He sure did show me, and I'm not letting some kind of complete stranger like you go and preach like that to my son all the time.
If you had seen the conversation we'd had, then you would know that what your son has been up to is not okay. I'm not the kind of woman that really likes to preach at all to others about how to do their jobs and such, and that's why this time I chose to just text him about it, so that it would be all in a much more lighthearted fashion.
There is nothing wrong with my son, and even if he was causing problems for anyone in the company, you are all to look away from it and mind your own business.
What? Did you not hear about how he's been pushing all her work off onto other coworkers and then leaving the office to go home whenever he pleases? This is not the kind of situation where all of us can just ignore what he's doing. And the worst part of all this is that he doesn't seem to understand that what he's doing is wrong. He's not even willing to own up to it in any way.
Stop lying to me! My son is a perfect and kind little man! I've heard enough from you now, so get all your things off your desk and leave this office! I'm gonna make you head to that small office out in the middle of the country!
You're going to have me move to another office all because of this? I think you'd best start thinking with your head on straight, Robert. The only reason your son was even hired into this company is because he's related to you, and now he's going around threatening other coworkers and with being fired by himself and his dad. As a working adult, does that not make you or him embarrassed by your guys' actions at all?
Ooh. Did you know that recently this company has been experiencing a lot of theft of materials from within its offices?
I know about that. I was the one that started to make those posters all over the building, warning people to be more careful with their things to avoid them being taken.
The person behind all that theft, it's you, right?
Huh? What are you even talking about?
Right? That's the reason I'm having you moved out to that smaller office in the middle of nowhere and your pay cut. I'm going to tell the company president that right now. I'm not going to tell him a thing about how you went against me and started to make nasty comments toward my son and then preach to him about his job.
Do you even have evidence of me stealing things from this office?
Well, I do happen to have some evidence, actually. I had a camera placed in the break room where I was able to see every corner of it, and I just happened to catch loads of videos of you taking things that are not yours.
You put up a camera in the break room? You do realize that the break rooms are separated between genders for a reason, right? There are shower rooms and everything in there, so that could be a huge problem for you, having put up a camera in there to watch over everyone. But anyway, I have not been the one doing any of that stealing. Could you show me those videos that you've recorded of me?
No way! There happen to be things in it of other employees in this company, and I'd like to keep all that private, of course. So I'm having the videos edited right now to remove all the people who have nothing to do with your crimes. But just know that you are in all of the videos clearly. I know that for a fact because I remember every instance of you stealing things.
This is my first time ever running into someone as awful as you. Are you not embarrassed by the things you're doing right now?
Things. You, even after all of this that I've told you about, you still have the drive to want to fight back? You already know you're finished, so all of this fighting from you is useless, and you're making yourself look like even more of an idiot. Go and clean off your desk right now, and then leave this office before the day is over.
Understood. Are you sure you don't want to talk with the company president about all of this before I leave?
The company president doesn't need to hear from me about how I'm having some low-level employee like you transferred to a worse office with worse pay.
Is that so? Well, all right then.
Hey! Get out of here now! It's too bad for you that you had to be born with only half a brain! Hey, I heard from my dad about everything, you know? He asked for you to get all your things together and get out of the office building. That must have opened your eyes to reality, right? You're a complete disgrace to this company.
I know. Once I've finished up my work for the day, I'm getting all my things together and leaving.
To be honest, I was hoping he'd just fire you on the spot, but my dad is a very nice man, so he let you off the hook by having you moved to that crappy old office building. You should be thankful that he didn't take things any further with you.
If anything, I feel sorry that a company like this had to hire such a man as he is. I suppose it was kind of him to only have me move to a different office out of his sight. I'll enjoy a new place of work now, and hopefully everyone there is a lot better behaved. I've become tired of having to care for the child that was only hired because of her connection to her dad, after all.
Such a pile of crap you are! But since you're going to be moving far away from here, I'll forgive you for that one. Good luck with life out in the middle of nowhere. I hope your life as a thief can be longer lived over in that office.
I'm not a thief, and I haven't been stealing anything from this office.
Right? Lie all you want. You even stole my wallet, right?
Huh? What are you trying to bring up this time?
I even had my wallet stolen by you. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, actually. I'll let my dad know about that before he leaves the office today.
When did I steal that purse of yours from you?
It doesn't really matter when it happened, right? I saw it with my own eyes, so that's all that matters.
If you saw it with your own 2 eyes, then you tell me at the time and place that it happened. If you really happened to see me stealing your purse in person, then you should know what day and time it took place.
It happened this week on Tuesday at 5:30 in the afternoon. At that moment in time, you came over to my desk and took my wallet from me while I was standing down the hallway. And that's when I saw you running off with it. I was on my way back from the toilet and everything. You really are the worst kind of person.
5:30 in the afternoon, huh? That is a very particular time for you to be able to remember that happening at.
Well, of course it is. I have a picture as evidence that I took of it happening, and it says the time it was taken in the picture's info. It says it clear as day, so there's no mistaking it now. You're not going to be able to talk your way out of this one, you thief.
A picture, huh? You're going to find that a lie like that won't be getting you very far. But go ahead and do whatever you want.
I'm gonna do what I like! I hope you find life hard at that other office when everyone there knows you as the corporate
Hey, Angelica, tell me what kind of relationship you have with the company president.
Excuse me? Why do you want to hear that from me all of a sudden?
Right now, he's running all over the office building after coming back from that overseas trip he took, and he's yelling that he's looking for his granddaughter. Are you really the granddaughter of the company president? You...
Well, yes, I am. And what does that have to do with anything?
Why did you never tell me about any of that sooner? So you
Well, had I told everyone that I'm the granddaughter of the company president, everyone in the company would start to treat me way too kindly, right? So I've kept that a secret this whole time in order to keep balance and equality here. And luckily our last names are different from one another, so nobody would have ever been able to tell. And I was able to work free of judgment from anyone else here and do my best in my department.
You really are his granddaughter, so you really are related to the freaking company president. All right. I'd like you to come...
Well, that's what I'm saying now.
You to come back to this office building at once and return to your desk. You know...
Now. Huh?
You no longer have to put in any more time over at that crappy office. Come back here and return to your previous job. You should be able to make it back here before lunch, right?
Huh? What are you going on about right now, Robert? You told me yourself before I left that place that I was never to leave this smaller office ever again, and that I'd be working here for the rest of my life, right?
Right? Well, things have changed drastically.
Right? When you say things have changed, is that because I'm the granddaughter of the company president? I do not want to be treated special because of my connection to him. I'd like to work with my own strength here, and that means I don't have anything to do with my grandpa.
No, that's not what all of this is about. Now just hurry it up and get back here. I don't want this turning into any more of a problem than it already is. I'll go talk with the company president right now and try to calm him down for you.
I'm sorry, but I'm not coming back. I happen to have a lot of work that needs to get done over at this office now.
You are being a real pain in the butt for me now. Do you have any idea what'll happen if the company president catches on to what happened?
I don't care what happens. You're the executive director, so that's going to be your problem, not mine. But of course, he's going to be pissed with what you've done. He happens to hate when things don't happen according to plan, especially when it has to do with one of the higher-ups in the company.
You! I can see that you think you're all special now. This is your last chance. Are you really sure you don't want to come back to this office and make things right for everyone?
Even if I wanted to come back, I can't do it today. I happen to have a lot of work that needs to get done, and I'm not going back until it's all handled.
For frick's sake!
Robert, it appears that you were contacted by the company president. You told him that you had found me to be the one who stole your son's wallet, and that's why you had me kicked out of that office and moved out here.
I did tell him that because it's the truth. The fact that you had the nerve to steal my son's wallet. I even gave you a chance to come back after kicking you out, but you said no to it, so this will all be your fault now.
But you didn't have any evidence of me being the one to steal it, right? I don't think that it was the most brilliant idea trying to paint me as the thief, all just to have a reason to kick me out of there.
Are you trying to smart-mouth me now? You're a freaking idiot, Angelica! Samson happened to see you do it with his own eyes, and that's enough evidence for me. Also, with that camera I placed in the women's break room, I was able to catch you on it stealing, and I know for a fact that's you!
Then could you please tell me when it was that I was in the break room stealing things? You happen to have video evidence of it, correct? That should mean that the time and everything of the incident are on that video recording as well.
I have the time. This Tuesday at 5:30 in the afternoon. The time of all this happening is in the bottom left corner of the video, so there's no mistaking it now. You went into the break room while everyone else was just leaving to get back to work, and you started sifting through people's bags and jackets. You thought that was the perfect chance to get away with it all, right?
I see. Then this means that at 5:30 on Tuesday of this week, I was in the women's break room, right? There are no mistakes with any of that information, right?
Right, that's all correct. No mistakes. I can show you the timestamp and everything on the video recording later if you want. But it seems that your plan to steal everyone's things was never going to work out for you, huh? If you really want to think that this video is edited in some way to make you look as though you stole those things, remember that I was in the group of women walking out of there, and I didn't see you leaving the break room, so you were definitely behind all of this. Huh? Why are you asking?
I'm sorry to have to ask this, but did you talk with Samson at all about the time that video recording of me stealing things from the break room took place?
You asking me that? Huh?
Well, it just seems to me that there is something not quite right with all of this. From what Samson was telling me about me stealing his wallet, he said it took place at 5:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday. That's apparently when I went to his desk and stole his wallet. And if you think that I'm mistaken, he told me he took a picture of me stealing his wallet and all, and the time on it says 5:30. But even with that detail, you are telling me that all that time I was in the women's break room stealing from them? How was I in two completely different parts of the office building at the same time?
What? Wait a moment, I'm gonna have a talk with him.
Sure, go right ahead.
Hey, Samson, why did you not explain things to Angelica like we had both discussed? I told you that at 5:30 I'd be saying she was in the women's break room stealing things, right?
Huh? No, I thought we agreed that at that time she was going to be in my office stealing my wallet off my desk.
I never agreed to you saying she was stealing your wallet at that time.
This is your fault this time, Dad. Why are you going to try and blame me for you not telling her the right times we'd planned on? You were the one that messed up this time. You told me that we'd be able to do all of this easily and make her look like the thief so that we could get her out of this office without being caught.
And that's still the plan. I have been trying to help you get rid of her by painting her as the thief.
You're not helping me out, though. You totally forgot about the times we had agreed on.
But I had explained to you before how I have her recorded on the camera I placed in the women's break room and everything, right?
I never heard about all that from you. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? The only time we weren't going to have an alibi from the other members of this department was during the time I was with Angelica, right? And that all took place at 5:30, so you were supposed to give a time besides that. Now when they're questioning me on why she was in 2 different locations at 5:30, they're going to find a hole in our lies and blame me.
You'll be all right. They haven't started looking for anyone just yet who was behind this, and they haven't even began asking for all the evidence we have. Now, for the time being, leave all of this up to me, and just stand by and wait for me to be finished with it, okay? Okay?
Huh? Are you trying to say that I'm getting in your way now?
Wait, that's not what I said.
Telling your own son to sit one out while you go and handle everything alone is the worst. Whatever, I don't care what happens to you now.
Robert!
Hey, you happen to be the granddaughter of the company president, right? I don't happen to have the phone number of the company president on me, so I'm going to tell you this so that you can tell him. The man that's been behind all of the theft within the company is my dad, Robert.
Excuse me? What do you mean by that?
I just told you what I mean. The man that's been going around stealing everything here is the executive director, my dad.
But you were saying before that you saw me with your own eyes stealing your wallet out of your office, right? You are starting to contradict what you've said before now.
I happened to make a mistake then. You and my dad happen to look very similar after all. Anyway, I want you to tell the company president everything I just said to you. Understood?
I do not want to become involved in whatever fight you're having with your father at the moment. And really, you don't have to worry about what's been going on with the company anymore, because the 2 of you will be getting fired here shortly. So maybe it's best you both just forget about whatever plan you've made to have a reason for me to be kicked out of that office and just make up.
Stood. Huh? Why do I have to be fired as well?
Well, that's because you've been the one going around the office buildings, stealing people's things from them. Let me tell you right now, everyone here has seen you stealing things off of their desks and out of their bags. That's why during these past few days, I've been going around gathering evidence of it and making an investigation. You did know that there are security cameras all over the office building's interior, right? Besides the break rooms, of course.
Oh. Huh? Security cameras? There are security cameras all over this office building's interior?
Yes, of course. And your father, the one who is the executive director for that office building, should have been aware of that as well. And, well, on multiple of those cameras, we have video evidence of you stealing. And, of course, the company president has watched through all the recordings.
Interior? Lies. These are lies, right?
None of this is a lie. You are most likely going to be sued by multiple different people for this now, so I'd suggest you find yourself a really good lawyer. But if you don't want that, then maybe you need to start giving everything you've stolen back to the victims.
Right? Well, it's not a problem for me. I still have my dad around to help me out of this.
Interesting. You were just going on about how he's been the one behind all of this, and now you want his help defending you?
Yes. My dad is a very kind man, so he'll forgive me for this. What? He's not answering his phone. What's going on here?
Did he go ahead and send you straight to voicemail or something? I'm sorry, but the company president has already gone and dealt with your father.
What do you mean? Then what am I going to do about this?
Well, now that your father, whose position you abused, is no longer around, there is nothing you can do. I think the first thing you can try doing is going up to everyone you stole from and try apologizing to them.
Shut up! I'm going to go and find my dad right now!
Angelica, I'm so sorry about so many things. Out of my own selfish anger, I had you relocated to another office building and your pay reduced. And I also tried to paint you as the thief.
That's right. And these apologies from you are well deserved. But being moved to another office building isn't that much of a problem for me. Everyone that's working out at this location are very nice people, and they've all been teaching me all sorts of things that even I never knew about the company. And the best part of it all out here is that there is nobody like your son here who was brought into the company because they're family and never get any work done and then turned into my new boss.
I can't really say anything to that now.
I know that. Now, is that all you have to say? You're not going to ask me to say anything to my grandpa as a way of having him pardon you or anything?
No, this was just meant to be me apologizing to you. I'm going to be leaving this company now, and on my way out, I'm going to apologize to every single person here for what I've done.
Well, if that's how you're handling things right now, then that must mean the company president tore into you pretty well, right?
I understand completely now why he was that mad with me. He was not going to take any of my crap from me, and he made that very clear. Just a bit ago, Samson ran into the room while he was yelling at me, and after he asked for me to leave his office, I could hear him tearing Samson a new one from the other side of the door. And when everything went quiet, the door opened, and Samson walked out looking like a zombie. That's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
All right. Not even I am able to picture how upset my grandpa must have been with you both, and I happen to be his family. At home, he's yelled at my mom and dad all the time, but never in a way that zombified them. But of course, I am his granddaughter, and he'd never ever want to yell at me about anything at home. However, that doesn't mean he wouldn't yell at me like that when I'm one of his employees and I've screwed up as bad as your son and you have.
Well, anyway, know that I really am sorry about what happened. I promise that my son and I will never show up to this company again. That is a promise, okay?
All right, please do that. The company was made by my grandpa, and to me, it's a very important place. And so having two people as selfish and crazy as you around here will not be tolerated ever again, and I'll make sure of it. Goodbye. After that, both Robert and his son, Samson, were fired from the company and kicked out of the office building. The once prestigious position they held now seemed like a distant memory. The company president, a man who had always prided himself on maintaining control and order within his organization, had finally reached his breaking point. The chaos and corruption that had been allowed to fester under Robert and Samson's reign were far too much for him to ignore any longer. The financial scandal that had been uncovered was vast, and it had come to light that Samson had been misappropriating funds, skimming off money that belonged to the victims of the company's numerous shady dealings. He had failed to pay compensation to those who had been wronged, and when he was confronted with his debt, he showed little remorse or understanding for the severity of the situation. In fact, when the time came for Samson to make amends and pay back the victims, he was entirely indifferent. Instead of taking responsibility for his actions, Samson had the audacity to approach his father, Robert, and ask him to pay the entire sum. Robert, who had once spoiled his son without a second thought, was now faced with a difficult decision. For years he had always bailed Samson out of trouble, giving him whatever he needed to stay afloat. But something inside Robert had shifted. He realized that he could no longer enable his son's reckless behavior. Nor could he continue to allow him to live without facing the consequences of his actions. When Samson came to him expecting yet another handout, Robert flatly refused. "No," he said firmly, "you need to learn the consequences of your actions. I can't help you this time." Samson, furious and desperate, had no choice but to take matters into his own hands. With no other options, he turned to a network of shady lenders, borrowing vast sums of money to pay back all the victims. He was now drowning in debt, with no clear way to climb out of the hole he had dug for himself. His once carefree lifestyle had come to a crashing halt, and it was clear that he was going to have to live with the weight of his decisions for a long time. The fallout from their firing was nothing short of catastrophic for both Robert and Samson. They had been public figures, seen as pillars of the company and the community, but now they were nothing more than cautionary tales. The company president, in an unexpected move, reached out to express his regret. A few days after the father and son were fired, he issued a public apology for not having seen the corruption that had been brewing under his nose. He acknowledged his failure as a leader and vowed to create a safer, more open workplace where employees could voice their concerns without fear of retaliation from higher-ups. Meanwhile, things between Robert and Sampson began to deteriorate rapidly. Neither of them could bear to face the world that had once admired them. The shame and guilt weighed heavily on their relationship, and they began to distance themselves from each other. Robert, now a man with nothing left, retreated into himself. He sequestered himself in his house, unable to face the public eye or even leave his home. He feared the stares, the whispers, and the judgment of others. For weeks he hardly left the house, spending his days in isolation, stewing in regret and self-pity. He no longer had the comfort of knowing that his wealth and power could shield him from the consequences of his actions. The walls of his home became his prison. Sampson, on the other hand, found himself working the night shift. It was a far cry from the corporate job he had once known, but he had no other choice. He worked jobs that most men his age would have been too afraid to take on. The hours were long and the work was grueling, but it was the only way he could begin to pay off the enormous debt he had accumulated. His once high-flying lifestyle, full of luxury and excess, was now a distant memory. He had to learn to survive in a world that didn't care about his last name or his family connections. Back at the company, things began to change in the wake of Robert and Sampson's departure. The employees, who had long been uncomfortable with the toxic atmosphere created by the father and son duo, began to breathe a sigh of relief. Without Robert and Sampson around, the workplace became more relaxed, and the pressure that had once been so oppressive was finally lifted. People felt free to speak their minds without the constant fear of retaliation. The work environment became more collaborative, and morale improved significantly. The company president's apology, while unexpected, was genuine. He took full responsibility for allowing the situation to spiral out of control, and he promised to make the necessary changes to ensure that something like this would never happen again. He vowed to implement systems that would promote transparency, accountability, and open communication at all levels of the company. It was a long overdue shift in culture, one that many employees had been hoping for, but it was clear that it had come far too late for Robert and Sampson. Several weeks later, I was approached by my grandfather, the company president. He asked me if I would consider returning to the head office to work there again. His voice was warm, but there was a hint of concern in his tone. After all that had happened, I knew that everyone in the office knew that I was his granddaughter, and that made me hesitant. I had seen how toxic the atmosphere had become during Robert and Sampson's reign, and I knew that people would view me differently because of my connection to the company president. I didn't want to be treated any differently from the other employees, and I didn't want to deal with the rumors and whispers that would inevitably follow me around. So I told my grandfather no. I explained that I would much rather continue working out in the countryside where people didn't know about my connections to the company, and where I could just be myself. The people there were kinder, more down to earth, and they treated me with respect because of who I was, not who I was related to. I don't want to work in a place where I'm treated any better because of my connections, I told him. I want to keep working hard on my own merits. I want to earn my place and prove that I'm capable. One day I hope to be in your position as company president, but only if I truly deserve it. My grandfather looked at me for a moment, and then he nodded. He understood. He had always been a man who valued hard work and dedication, and he knew that my decision was based on those principles. I'm proud of you, he said. I know you'll go far, and I'll support you no matter where you choose to work. And so I continued my work in the countryside, content with the decision that I had made. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I was determined to prove myself on my own terms. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.